Natural disasters in India, many of them related to India's climate, cause huge losses of life and property. Droughts, flash floods, hurricanes, avalanches, and landslides caused by heavy rains and snowstorms pose the greatest threats. Natural disaster may occur due to earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, landslides, hurricanes, etc. To be classified as a disaster, it would need to have a profound environmental impact and/or human loss, and often cause a financial loss. Other risks include frequent summer sandstorms, which usually follow from north to south. They cause massive damage to properties in northern India and deposit large amounts of dust and dirt from arid areas. Hail is also common in parts of India, causing severe damage to permanent crops like rice, wheat, and many other crops, and affecting many people. Landslides are very common in the lower Himalayas. The young age of the area's hills results in rock formations that are prone to sliding. Rising population and development pressures, especially from logging and tourism, are leading to deforestation. The result is bare hillsides that exacerbate the severity of landslides, where trees and cover obstruct the flow of water down the hill. Parts of the Western Ghats also suffer from low-intensity landslides. Avalanches are common in Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, etc. Landslides in India are also very dangerous, as many Indian families and farmers reside in the hills or mountains. Floods in India. Floods are the most common natural disaster in India. Heavy monsoon rains in the southwest cause the Brahmaputra and other rivers to overflow, often leading to flooding of surrounding areas. Although they provide rice farmers with a largely reliable source of natural irrigation and fertilization, floods can kill thousands and displace millions. Excessive, irregular, or inappropriate seasonal rains may also wash away or destroy crops. Most parts of India are vulnerable to floods, and extreme rainfall events, such as flash floods and heavy rains, have become increasingly common in central India over the past several decades, coinciding with rising temperatures. At the same time, annual rainfall totals showed a gradual decline due to a weakening of the seasonal cycle as a result of the rapid warming of the Indian Ocean and a decrease in the temperature difference between land and sea. This means that there are more intermittent extreme rainfall events, with longer dry spells in central India in recent decades. Cyclones in India. The intertropical convergence zone may affect thousands of Indians living in coastal areas. Tropical cyclone formation is particularly common in the northern regions of the Indian Ocean in and around the Bay of Bengal. Hurricanes bring with them heavy rains, strong storms, and winds that often cut off affected areas from relief and supplies. In the North Indian Ocean basin, the cyclone season extends from April to December, with peak activity between May and November. Each year, an average of 8 storms form with sustained wind speeds greater than 63 kilometers per hour. 39 miles per hour. Of these storms, 2 are strengthening into true tropical cyclones, which have sustained gusts of more than 117 kilometers per hour, 73 miles per hour. On average, a major hurricane, category 3 or higher, develops every 2 years. During the summer, the Bay of Bengal experiences extremely high temperatures, resulting in moist and unstable air masses that produce cyclones. Several powerful cyclones, including the Calcutta cyclone of 1737, Cyclone Bola of 1970, Cyclone Bangladesh of 1991, Cyclone Odisha of 1999, Cyclone Fani of 2019 in Odisha, and Cyclone Vayu in Gujarat, have caused widespread destruction along parts of the coast. Eastern India and neighboring Bangladesh. Large-scale deaths and destruction of property are reported every year in exposed Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. The western coast of India, which borders the calmer Arabian Sea, experiences only rare cyclones. These cyclones mainly hit Gujarat and less frequently Kerala and occasionally Odisha. In terms of damage and loss of life, the 1999 Odisha cyclone, a massive cyclone that struck Odisha on October 29, 1999, was the worst in more than a quarter of a century, with peak winds of 160 miles per hour, 257 kilometers per hour. It was equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane. It left nearly 2 million people homeless. The lives of another 20 million people were disrupted by the hurricane. Officially, 9,803 people died due to the storm. Unofficial estimates put the death toll at more than 10,100. In terms of damage and asset destruction, Cyclone Amphan, a super cyclone that struck West Bengal, Odisha and Bangladesh on May 20, 2020, is up to that date the worst in India in the 21st century. With maximum winds of 260 km per hour to 280 km per hour, it was equivalent to a Category 5 cyclone. Nearly 5,050,000 people were left homeless in West Bengal and Odisha. Bangladesh. The lives of another 10,000,001 crore people were disrupted due to the cyclone. Officially, 128 people died due to the storm. The official estimate of damage and asset destruction is $13.40 to $13.69 billion. It is the costliest and most damaging cyclone ever seen in the Bay of Bengal. Typhoon Tauktai in 2021 killed at least 104 people, the highest number in a decade.
Effects of climate change on the environment. Monsoon season first. The India Meteorological Department has announced that the water cycle will be more intense, with higher average annual rainfall as well as increased drought in the coming years. Monsoon is also expected to rise by 20% in most states. A 2°C rise in average global temperature will make the Indian monsoon very unpredictable. At 4°C, an extremely wet monsoon season that currently has a 1 in 100 year probability of occurring will occur every 10 years by 2100. Maximum and minimum temperatures and precipitation will increase particularly over the west coast, central and northeastern India. Dry years are expected to be drier and rainy years wetter due to climate change. Second, rivers and glaciers. Per capita freshwater availability in India is expected to fall below 1,000 cubic meters by 2025 due to population growth and climate change. The river basins of Kaveri, Bina, Mahe, Sabarmati, Tapi, Lani, and a few others are already suffering from water scarcity. Krishna and Subarnarekha may become so by 2025. High population density, coastal flooding, saltwater intrusion, and exposure to storms make the deltas of the coastal rivers, Ganga, Godavari, Krishna, and Mahanadi, hotspots for climate change. Vulnerability glaciers are the main source of water for Himalayan rivers, such as Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus. 67% of Himalayan glaciers have retreated in the past decade and continue to diminish at increasing rates. The Ganges and Indus are likely to become water-scarce areas by 2025. Since 1962, the total area of glaciers has decreased by 21% from 2,077 square kilometers to 1,628 square kilometers. This would worsen water shortages over time and could jeopardize food security and energy generation. Third, sea level rise. Rising sea temperature and sea level lead to loss of marine ecosystems, biodiversity, salinity, erosion, and flooding, and also increases the occurrence and intensity of storms along the entire coast. The effects of climate change have already been observed in the inundation of coastal lands in the Sundarbans, the loss of wetlands and coral reefs due to bleaching, and an estimated sea level rise of 1.06 to 1.75 millimeters per year. Low-level scenarios estimate that sea levels in Asia will be at least 40 centimeters higher by 2100. The IPCC calculates that this would expose 13 to 94 million people to flooding, with about 60% of this total in South Asia. A sea level rise of 100 centimeters will submerge 5,763 cubic kilometers of India's land mass. This will severely impact residents in major cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai due to land inundation and extreme weather events. An increase in sea surface temperature increases the frequency, intensity, size, and destructive power of tropical cyclones. Fourth, drought, heat waves, and storms. 500 million hectares of land in the Asia-Pacific region are already suffering from land degradation. Summers are already becoming more severe in India, with some areas regularly reporting temperatures around 47 degrees Celsius. In the last 4 years, India has seen as many as 4,620 deaths due to heat waves, according to data published by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. The Indian Meteorological Department announced that the storm that struck northern India in May 2018 was severe and may increase in frequency due to global warming. This is due to increased wind intensity and soil dryness, which increases the severity of dust storms. The rise in global surface temperature will be more pronounced in the northern part of India. Summer could last up to 8 months in the Gangetic Plain by 2070 if global temperature increases by more than 2 degrees Celsius, a recent study reported. Increasingly intense and frequent heat waves may significantly increase deaths. Such hot climatic conditions coupled with water scarcity exacerbate the effects of drought.